right? So a lot of individuals are looking at this and they're saying, "Wow, it's finally over. The chickens have come home to roost. BlackRock is going to stop funding all these policies that are making left-leaning activists because now they are protesting against them." Press X to doubt. I mean, I see like 20, maybe 30 organized protesters with chants and stuff. Highly likely that someone paid them. But even then, I mean, it's easy to deal with, right? If they're small in numbers, you let them do their thing. If they start growing in numbers, then you get the police to escort them out with security. Like BlackRock is not like a mall in San Francisco where if someone gets arrested for shoplifting, it's the cops' fault or it's the employee's fault that stopped them. No, like they don't fuck around. Still, it is interesting because, as I mentioned before, the woke ideology that has been pushed in academia and in schools and in entertainment is trying to teach and lecture a generation of young people that white privilege is the worst sin that has ever been committed on humanity. Colonialism bad, everything about it is bad. And then they go Pikachu face when they're looking at the conflict between Israel and Palestine, and they're not getting a lot of support from the younger people. I mean, the corporations and the politicians, they're on board. But if TikTok is anything to go by, or Hassan Piker's audience, then you can see that the young people aren't siding exactly how the university professors would hope that they would side. And this is interesting because, yes, it does create this schism within the left-leaning party where I think like the last poll that I saw was around like 40% of the voters are not in favor of the conflict. Whatever that means. But it is an issue, right? Because up until now, the way the left used to do things was zero debate, zero conversation. They would dictate, usually through the mainstream media or, social media TOS updates. And they will say, this is the correct way of thinking. This is how you need to think about the pandemic. This is how you need to think about the Ukraine. This is how you need to think about the environment. And it was very simple. Anyone that didn't think correctly was suppressed, fired from their positions, or banned from social media. And you knew how to think. And as long as you virtue signaled enough, you are considered to be a decent person. But now it's a lot more difficult because within the left group, you can't really have like a clear way of how to think about this, because the moment you do, you're going to have like these protesters using the same tactics and the same things that the left have been doing against the right for all this time. And now they're doing it to the left, and I view this like a schism, which is happening inside the religion. You got the church, and then a disagreement happens, and now you have Catholicism and Orthodoxy. So it's similar here. Like you're now having the left, which has grown way too big. And when I say the left, I mean like the modern culture, right? Like the woke ideology. When you hear someone talk about white supremacy and colonial, like you know what they're talking about. Those people, they're now schisming. They're now like the establishment, which is the corporation, the banks, and that. But the foot soldiers are going the other way. And it is a problem. Now, the more interesting stuff is happening in universities. Because in universities, you not only had like professors not willing to condemn students that were going rogue, but you also had like a huge rise of anti-Semitism. Like actual anti-Semitic crimes have happened in certain universities. You even had students being harassed because they're Jewish, and all of that taking place. And the problem is some of these universities get a lot of funding from backers. Some of the backers happen to be Jewish. Other backers even happen to be evangelicals but are sympathetic to the Jewish cause. So like a lot of the boomer generation. And when they see that this is allowed to happen, they are willing to put up with a lot of stuff, but not with this. So I'm really interested to see next year how the donations are going to look like at these universities. It's probably going to be a bloodbath, not gonna lie. The last time something like this happened was when people were starting to realize that the universities are going a little bit woke. and you had like some major backers that decided to stop funding. So the universities had to like reduce the number of people that were on campus. They started to shut down dorms. I think this is going to be even worse. It's going to take a while to actually kick in, and it also depends like just how much harm the professors are going to do. How much are they going to allow the students to spurg out? Because this is another thing, like they're trying to defend this by saying, well, it's free speech on campus. After the last 5 years, you literally cannot use that argument. Like, no one believes that there is such a thing as free speech on a campus, where you're talking about safe spaces and microaggressions and trying to not only police people's speech, but you're trying to police how people dress, you're trying to police how people think. Like, don't give me this, oh yeah, well, it's for free speech. Because the thing is, like, if this were to happen 10 years ago, they could have made this argument. It's like, yeah, well, during class, we do try to make sure that everyone is behaving, but in their own free time, we as a university have no control over what people do in their private lives. You could have used this argument 10 years ago, but now, no, you can't. No, like, you as a university wanted to be the shepherd. You wanted to be like the church, and instead of training people that are going to find a job, you are training activists and foot soldiers. And there are many scientific literature papers from grievance studies where the university professors say that they want to do just that. My favorite one comes from women's studies, where they're saying that they want to turn students into viruses, to infiltrate the cells of society. The cells of society being companies and corporations and other echelons of power, so that they start spreading wokeness, right? They subvert the cell and they start pushing wokeness. This is like what actual professors wrote in their thesis. So it's very difficult to say, well, actually it's for free speech. I mean, many of these universities like flat out say that free speech is a white supremacist concept. So it's going to be interesting. Regarding BlackRock, I don't really think they care. I mean, yeah, sure, they got like a couple of people angry. Okay. Are they influential? Like, maybe this is the question. Like, if they are influential, maybe they will start caring a little bit. But if worse comes to worse, if like BlackRock stops supporting like this whole ideology, they will just change a couple of things. Remember how it went with feminism? Like in 2016, feminism was so strong that even if you disagreed with a woman online, it was considered misogyny. And if you are a misogynist, there was an entire apparatus to deal with you, get you fired from the job, get you in a lot of legal trouble. But now, who cares? Like, when's the last time you heard the word patriarchy or hashtag yes all men? Or that doesn't even get uttered. And the reason is because due to Me Too scandals, a lot of higher ups were affected. So you had the Hollywood directors, you had the left-leaning politicians, you had people in the press. And when the higher-ups get affected, then things have to change. So the question is, like, are higher-ups going to be affected by modern woke ideology? It's difficult to say, because they may. I mean, it depends on how people vote next elections. That will be very interesting, because if a significant chunk of the left-leaning party is voting against America's intervention in the Middle East, then yes, BlackRock might actually look at the ideology and try to tinker with it a little bit so that it sounds better, the same way they tinkered with feminism. Trans rights are women's rights, right? They tinkered a little bit with feminism, and there you go. Now the most prominent feminists like J.K. Rowling are being accused of bigotry. How quickly they shut up, right? So, yeah, I do think something like that may come down the pipe. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.